Atari must have been pretty proud of the industry they helped create. If only they put as much effort into creating games, they might still be around. Paperboy is an oddity in the world of video games. It's very much like Marmite. It's a love it or hate it game. It wasn't a game I particularly enjoyed playing, but at the same time, I do appreciate its contribution to the whole video game industry, as it is certainly an iconic game, and I do not think anyone can deny that. Paperboy is an arcade action game developed and published by Atari Games, and released in 1985. The player takes the role of a paperboy who delivers a fictional newspaper called The Daily Sun along a street on his bicycle. The arcade version of the game featured bike handlebars as a controller, which is kind of what made it stand out. The game begins with a choice of difficulty levels: easy street, middle road, and hard way. The object of the game is to perfectly deliver papers to subscribers for an entire week and avoid crashing, which counts as one of the player's lives, before the week ends. The game lasts for 7 in-game days, Monday through to Sunday. Each day begins by showing an overview of the street, indicating subscribers and non-subscribers. Subscribers and non-subscribers' homes are easy to discern in the level itself, with subscribers living in brightly coloured houses and non-subscribers living in dark houses. Points are awarded for each paper delivered. You get more points if you manage to get the paper inside the mailbox. You can only carry 10 papers though, so you simply can't spray papers at the customer's house. At the end of each street is an obstacle course which generates even more points. This was one of those early old school games where high scores were the object of the game. The visuals were certainly very colourful for the era. I personally would not say the visuals are outstanding or anything, as it's mostly just a road, houses and cars you see, but at the same time, they were not downright horrible either. The kindest thing you could say is they performed their job well. The sound had this mellow sounding tune to it, which is largely forgettable, and some okay sound effects for jumps and broken windows and the like. But for a game from 1985, it did have a shed load of speech in it, and it was really clear as well, which was a real bonus. I think it's this speech and sampled sound effects that help draw the player in, that and the really odd control system. The controls were set up to appear like handlebars, complete with BMX style hand grips, but with no pedals. How did the player move? Well, you simply push the handlebars forward and pull back to slow down. And to throw the papers, there is a button positioned way too far for my small hands of the time to reach, and so this is the reason why I never ever got into this game. I could see what Atari were trying to accomplish with the handlebar controls, but my hands were honestly that small. I had to use one hand to steer and move forward, and the other had to sort of tuck under the grip to hit the button. I just looked ridiculous when playing this game.
crazy drivers.
After failing to control the character, I decided I hated this game, which was a bit harsh to be fair, but that's just how I felt. Once I read in a magazine that it was coming out in the Commodore 64, I thought I would give it another try. At least it wouldn't have that same control method. In 1986, when this game was released on the home micros, I managed to get a hold of it for Christmas that year, and oh my god, what an awful port of a game this is. That year for Christmas, I got 2 turkeys. I got one for lunch, and I got this game. I think that Elite tried their best with this conversion. You can see it does resemble the arcade, but in a much more monochromatic way. The bright, cheery colouring of the arcade has been replaced with this sea of grey and bland colouring. It just looks really yucky. And if you do manage to progress through the week, the colour scheme just gets more depressing, especially Wednesday. It's like a paint by numbers inspired theme with the black pavements and black windows. The sound is really below par as well. The soundtrack is just really annoying, to the point of playing it with the sound off. The jingle for delivering a paper gets so annoying, you almost do not want to deliver papers at all. And the tune at the end of the bonus track is just headache inducing. The playability though is strangely alright. It was far easier to control with the joystick, and at least the fire buttons were suitably placed on them when compared to the handlebar. But was it an enjoyable game to play? I would have to say, not really. Sure, it was good for 5 minutes, and then you just wanted to do something else. Much like a real paper round actually. And I should know, as I was a Paperboy in my younger days, and it was nothing like this game. But this was not the end for my Paperboy playing days. Oh no. In 1990, Tengen released Paperboy on the Sega Master System, and I did not buy it, but my mate did. And what a surprise this turned out to be indeed. Paperboy on the Sega Master System was a very good game in my humble opinion. I felt it managed to capture the bright, colourful and cheery look of the arcade original. And I think these graphics are actually easier on the eye than the arcade. At least the houses are mostly different colours. The sound is the usual Master System affair. It does try to produce a decent tune, but it fails miserably. Bless it. The sound was always the Achilles heel for the Master System. The sound effects are pretty miserable too. But the playability in this game is good. But don't get carried away, it's not amazing. And I think the fact this game was either average or below average on every format just shows that it was an average game to begin with. Saying that, I did not hate the Master System version, I actually quite liked it, but by 1990 it was very old hat and run of the mill, and there were far better games to play on the Master System. But I think Tengen did a pretty good job on this port, I really do. It just wasn't a game that really grabbed my attention, that's all. I stand by what I said earlier though, and do consider it to be one of the most iconic games of the 1980s. And it made cameos in several movies, including Police Academy 3, which was probably the best bit about Police Academy 3 actually. Today, Paperboy appears on just about every format imaginable, and while I haven't played all of those, I would suggest giving it a go for yourself. And that was my look back at Paperboy. If you liked this video, then please do give me a sub and a thumbs up, or maybe even a comment or two below. And a massive thank you to all of those who have subscribed and commented on my videos. Your support really does go a long way in helping the channel grow, and I appreciate all of your feedback and support. And that's all from me folks. Thanks for watching.